September 18th, 1873. Nothing would ever be the same again. When the bells of Wall Street rang that morning, no one realized the sound marked the beginning of the darkest era in American economic history. Historians would later call it the Long Depression. But for millions, it was the moment when the dream turned into a nightmare. After the Civil War, America seemed to rise from its ashes. Land was expanding, new factories were rising, and railroads connected the nation like veins of steel. People saw the sound of the train as the sound of progress. Investors from Europe poured money into this dream, convinced of America's endless promise. Yet no one understood what truly fueled this growth: speculation. Every new railroad, every new factory was called the apple of the future. But this wealth wasn't built on labor. It was inflated credit, a bubble waiting to burst. And one day, it did. The fall began with the collapse of Jay Cooke Company, one of the most powerful financial firms in the country. That single failure triggered a chain reaction. Like dominoes, everything followed. The New York Stock Exchange closed for 10 straight days. Thousands of small businesses vanished overnight. Ironworks went silent. Workshops gathered dust. The once booming states fell into eerie silence. Prices dropped so fast that deflation gripped the nation. A bushel of wheat lost half its value within a year. Sounds good? It wasn't. The proud American farmer, once a symbol of independence, became a man without land, his soil no longer his own. The Long Depression didn't come overnight. It crept in slowly. Each month, families sank deeper into poverty. Hope vanished. This was the birth of the labor unions, the first cries of the working class demanding dignity. Industrial prosperity was now held in the hands of the few, and the gap between rich and poor had become a canyon. By 1879, the economy began to recover, but nothing was truly restored. Tens of thousands of farms were gone, thousands of banks had closed, and perhaps the worst loss, the nation's trust, was broken. This Long Depression was a haunting preview of what would later become the Great Depression. If you'd like to learn more about that story, check the video card above. A century later, America would face another storm, the stagflation of 1973 to 1975. This time, the crisis wasn't born from greed or banking collapse, but from war and global politics. After World War II, America lived its golden age. Factories were full, unemployment was low, wages were high. But by the 1970s, the dream began to fade. The Vietnam War drained billions from the treasury and even more from the nation's spirit. As the war dragged on, inflation quietly rose. In 1971, President Nixon abandoned the gold standard. The dollar was no longer tied to gold. At first, it seemed harmless, but soon, trust in the dollar began to crumble. Then came 1973 and the Yom Kippur War. When the U.S. supported Israel, Arab nations struck back with an oil embargo. Overnight, oil prices quadrupled. Gas stations ran dry. Lines of cars stretched for miles. Factories once again fell silent. By 1974, the stock market had lost nearly half its value. The American middle class, once the backbone of the nation, could no longer afford homes or education. The nation's confidence shattered. The Vietnam defeat and the president's resignation turned economic pain into an identity crisis. It wasn't just an economic collapse, it was a psychological one. The government tried everything: higher interest rates, price freezes, but nothing worked. The unemployed were hopeless and the working class exhausted. Even when the crisis ended in 1975, the scars remained. Then came the 1980s and Ronald Reagan. With him arrived a new era, the age of the free market. Slowly, the American economy began to rise again. Confidence returned, factories reopened, and for the first time in years, America believed in itself again. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video.